The 1994 film Quiz Show depicts the events of the 1950 scandal on the popular quiz show called 21. 21 revolves around two contestants answering questions while betting points in order to achieve the perfect score of 21. Originally aired in 1956, 21 began as a flop due to contestants being unable to correctly answer questions, which in turn lowered the ratings for the show. In order to save the show, cheating had to be used. A middle-class Jewish man named Herbert Stempel quickly began to rise as the newest champion of the show. By answering questions with the answers provided by the producers Dan Enright and Albert Freeman beforehand, Stempel was able to boost ratings for the show and quickly become the reigning champion. Eventually, Stempel became boring in the eyes of the sponsor, who wished for a replacement champion. After a standard interview for the show, a well-educated teacher named Charles Van Doren became a new contestant that was to be trained in order to become the new champion of 21. In reality, Van Doren originally tried out for Tic-Tac-Dough, another popular game show, instead of 21. Based on his appearance and background, the producers believed that Van Doren would become a hit. Van Doren reluctantly agreed to cheat in order to stay on the show. In the decided match, Stempel was forced to give the wrong answer to a question in which he truly knew, causing Van Doren to become the new champion of 21. After feeling guilt for his winning streak, Van Doren purposely gets a question wrong on a match and loses the game. The young lawyer who had been investigating people for clues about a scandal behind the show, Richard Goodwin, watches Van Doren during this match. In reality, Goodwin had started his investigation of the scandal after Van Doren had already left the show. The overall investigation of the 21 scandal actually happened after Van Doren had already left the show, compared to the film showing that this happened while he was still on it. Goodwin in the film is also portrayed to be the man responsible for single-handedly gathering the clues and bringing the case to a close. In reality, Goodwin was still in law school when the newspaper first released news of the scandal investigation. Joseph Stone, a former New York district attorney, stated that Goodwin played a very minor role in the investigation so that he himself led the majority of the investigation and prosecution of the case. While the film portrays the events of the quiz show, its scandal investigation, and the court case happened in just a few months, these events actually took place over the course of 3 years. After Van Doren pleaded guilty to the court of receiving answers for the questions beforehand on 21, many game shows were removed from the air. The biggest significance of this case was the amendments passed to the Communications Act of 1960, which included the banning of prearranged answers and victories on game shows, and the requirement for stations to make it clear when money had been received for broadcast material. Most of those involved in the scandal did not suffer illegal consequences, with the worst being the producers of 21 being blacklisted from the industry for a period of time. In the epilogue, it is also stated that Van Doren never taught again due to the corruption. In reality, he went back to teaching and even wrote books after the scandal.
In the Senate hearing room, the dramatic climax of the probe of fixed and rigged quiz shows. Charles Van Doren's wife and father, poet Mark Van Doren, are in the audience as committee chairman Senator Orrin Harris opens the hearing. Charles Van Doren arrives to apologize and attempt to explain to the millions whose friendship and respect he had won. In his quiz show appearances, he also won $129,000 and earned a handsome broadcasting contract. Van Doren retracts his earlier denials of getting any assistance. He admits that he received dramatic coaching and the questions and many of the answers. But his statement is a rueful and moving realization that for his wealth and fame, he paid a bitterly high price.
I lied to the American people. I lied about what I knew, and then I lied about what I did not know. In a sense, I was like a child who refuses to admit a fact in the hope that it will go away. Of course, it did not go away. I was scared. Scared to death. I had no solid position, no basis to stand on for myself. There was one way out, and that was simply to tell the truth. It may sound trite to you, but I've found myself again after a number of years. I've been acting a role, maybe all my life, of thinking I've done more, accomplished more, produced more than I have.
Overall, Quiz Show serves as more of an entertainment film than a documentary. Due to historical inaccuracies, Quiz Show does not serve as a factual movie. According to producer Robert Redford, changes were made to create dramatic tension, yet this may have been what caused the film's downfall for its historical inaccuracy.